Let's get started. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Sophie, for the second of 4 sessions that we are doing in conjunction with the Association for Project Management. For those of you that attended the session last week, which was aimed at those starting out in their careers, give us a quick hands up in the raise your hands in the chat if you were here for the last session, so we've got an idea of who was here before. Let's have a look at that. Hi, Peter. Good to see you. It's been a long time. Hiya. Fantastic. So we've got about 13. So well done those that were here last time. Thank you for joining us again. Hopefully there'll be, some really useful information for you guys in terms of what comes next. So of the series of 4, they are built on each other, and it's about that career development. So how do we support the profession to develop in the healthcare sector, but also what does the Association for Project Management offer in terms of career pathways, and how do we help people to build and manage their talent and grow from one stage to the next. So as I said, this is the second of 4. This one's focusing on the sort of foundation level, so looking at that in terms of where you might be now or where you might aspire to be, but also potentially looking at where do you go from here, and that will then lead into the next session, which is next week. So again, if you're new in, introduce yourself in the chat, say hello, where you're from and what you do. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Sophie Lawrence from the APM, who's going to take us through the session again today. Thank you, Sophie, and over to you.
Thank you, Jo. I'm just going to share my screen. I have got some slides for you all today. I hopefully won't be killing you with them. I have been very selective as to what I'm going to do. I know PowerPoints can be a bit like that. So I'm Sophie Lawrence. I'm one of the Partnership Development Managers, and I support our corporate members, which the HPCA is one of. So it's my responsibility and privilege to ensure that our corporate partners are making the most of that business-to-business relationship and sharing with their communities what the Association for Project Management is about and how that can benefit their communities in their career progression. So today we're looking at that fundamentals, and I will just say for those that were on the last session last week, some of this will be a little bit repetitive, just because I want to make sure that that message is received in terms of who we are and what we're about. So if we could just get a quick poll going at the moment, just to hear from you all in terms of, have we got any members in the audience today? Are there any individual members amongst us of the Association for Project Management?
Okay, so I don't know if you can see the results, Sophie, but they're starting to come in, and there's an interesting split. So we've had about 32 response so far, and of that 28 yes, 72% no. So that's not bad, actually. That's
okay.
There's a good quarter are individual members, which is great.
Yeah, perfect. So there's an awareness already of the association, which is what I hoped for. So that's good news, and hopefully that you're all utilising that individual membership and using all those resources available. But we'll come to that in a moment. The other quick poll question that I had was if anybody has already taken any of our qualifications, if that's something those in the community have begun on that journey in our various qualifications. Just give everyone a minute to respond to that.
Yep, we've got a few starting to come through. So APMP, PMQ. I put Chartered Project Professional in there. The APM Management Qualification. We've got Foundation and Practitioner. We've also got no or none. So I think still some to get on that journey. Fundamentals. There's a bit of a spread.
Okay, good. So I was interested to know where people were already on that road. So that's good to know. So yes, we're the Association for Project Management. We are the only chartered body for the project profession. And we work tirelessly to really lift and elevate the standards and promote the project profession as a standalone profession choice. We're leading the debate, we're sharing best practice, we're really looking to our corporate partners as well to have a voice to help shape the profession going forward as well. So there's a lot of different activities that we get involved in as a membership body predominantly, and because our goal is that all projects succeed. So that's a little bit about us as an education charity. We celebrated our 50th year last year, so really a great milestone to reflect on all the work of some real highlighted projects over those decades. So yeah, a real milestone for us as an organisation. So that was really exciting, and really humbling to know that this work has been in process for all those numbers of years. So as an organisation, to just give you some ideas of the scale that we're operating in, we've currently got over 40,000 individual members. We work very closely with over 450 corporate partners, so that business to business relationship. We've chartered to date over 3,000 individuals, and we have awarded qualifications to over 18,000 people per year. On average, we're delivering over 200 different types of CPD events throughout the year as well, opportunities for individuals to get together and network and share ideas and thoughts. And we have a very passionate, enthusiastic community of volunteers and ambassadors in the realms of around 500 individuals. So we'll come to that in a moment as well. So it just gives you an idea of the activity that's going on as an organisation. And this slide gives you an idea of the breadth of the organisations that we work with, the large and small, public and private sector. So these are the organisations that we have that corporate relationship with, that are demonstrating to their employees their commitment to the project profession and are invited to feed in to progress the progression as well. So these are the organisations that we will go to as a charity to look for feedback on particular areas of thought. If we're looking to have a research piece done, we'll ask these organisations to have an input into that, for example. So essentially we are a membership body, and there are 4 different levels of membership, and I'll focus today on that associate level of membership just for awareness. But just so you're aware, there are different levels of membership. It's at the full membership that you gain the post-nominals, but for the purposes of today, we're going to just focus on the associate member. So the associate membership is a click of a button through the website with a subscription fee to gain access to that hub of resources. You've got a wealth of e-learning platform resources, CPD opportunities. There's a very vibrant community to get involved with and to network amongst as well there. There's opportunities for you to use the CPD tracker, which will record your progress, and you've got your body of knowledge and your competence framework, which are 2 key documents that feed through to all of our qualifications as well. So a wealth of resources, not to mention the podcasts and other things that are going on as well. So a whole host of really rich resources for the project profession. Through the associate membership as well, you have access to our mentoring programme, which is quite a new addition to that suite of benefits, and that's been particularly useful for people that are looking to become chartered. You can request a mentor for whatever professional challenge you're looking to achieve, but we have noticed that chartership is an area that lots of people have been using that programme to support them with. So just so you're aware that at this level of membership, there's no criteria to meet. Anybody with an interest in project management or working on peripheries of project management can click and join and become an associate member. It's at the full membership level that you would need to send an application to be to have that level of membership awarded to you. And then you would gain the post-nominals at that stage as well. So that's an overview of the associate membership. So the resources are the same. However, you don't get the post-nominals at this stage. So like I said, some of the benefits of that membership are the eLearning platform, which has modules on all sorts of different elements of project management. There is also one on chartership as well, and that's constantly being updated, reviewed, and kept relevant to the profession. You have that vibrant community for you to network amongst, like I mentioned, and all of those CPD and that continuous professional development resources and tracker are particularly valuable to our members, especially those that are looking to perhaps gain chartership in the future. We do require at least 35 hours of continuous professional development over the year for those chartered individuals. And then we have our qualifications, and there's a clear career pathway in our qualifications. We're going to touch on the fundamentals today, the Project Fundamental Qualification, PFQ, and also the PMQ as well. And then the next sessions will go into a little bit more depth on the PPQ and chartership later again. So just to give you an overview of where those sit, we have a slide here just to give you an illustration of at what point in your career you might be looking to do one of those the appropriate qualification. That it's not required that you do them in order, but it has been recommended in the past that perhaps you have the knowledge and understanding of the previous qualification. So for example, have a knowledge and understanding of the syllabus, the material, the knowledge within the fundamentals prior to taking the PMQ, the Project Management Qualification. It's not required that you have got the qualification, but just have that foundation knowledge is beneficial. But you can see there at what stages in your career that you might decide to take those qualifications. It is normally not recommended, but we do on average see that those within the communities that are looking to take the PMQ, for example, will have 2 to 4 years of real world experience under their belt when they decide to take that particular qualification, for example. Oh, have I just lost my slides? Oh, I think I have.
Yes, they've popped off the screen. If you can.
Yes.
I'll sort that out in a second.
Do you remember where you were?
I think so.
So just while we're getting those sort of back up again, I think one of the things that this is give you information, and there's lots more information in detail about what each of those qualifications are on the website. And what we'll do is we'll put the link in the chat. So after the session, if you have a look on the website, you can go into a bit more detail. But do remember, you can ask questions of Sophie, and if there's anything that you have a burning question, if you put it in the Q&A module, we'll make sure that we get those asked before the end of the session, so you can get all your questions answered. Okay, we've got you back.
Got me back. Yes, we will have some time at the end to go over any questions from the room. So yeah, so just trying to give you an idea of the progression in your career and what point those qualifications are going to be relevant. And it's at that sort of fundamentals and the PMQ level that we would expect the individual membership to be at that student or associate member level. Again, it's not a requirement to be a member to take our qualifications, and you don't have to have taken our qualifications to become a member. One is not dependent on the other, but that's just to give you an idea of the timeline, if you like. So to go into the qualifications in a little bit more detail, the Project Fundamentals is something that we recommend to anybody that's new to projects, wants to get into projects, working on the peripheries of projects, just really would benefit from having an understanding of the language and terminology within the project space. This is one of the qualifications we regard as a knowledge-based qualification, and is a 1 hour or 60-minute multiple choice exam that's taken virtually online. So it is also one that we consider to be possible to self-study as well. So we do have a number of accredited providers that deliver the content for our qualifications. That's not something that the APM does. We've accredited over 150-ish organisations that deliver the content for our qualifications, but this is one that we do consider could be self-studied, and you can purchase the resources for that and then book your exam directly with the APM if you choose to take it that way. And they'll take you through all the information in terms of how to set up your computer, and you'll need your mobile device to act as a camera as well to invigilate for you whilst you're working through that exam from home. But that's what that one looks like. It's a 1 hour multiple choice, and it really does help just to give that understanding of the foundation level of the language around projects. Like I said, these don't have to be done in order, but it's recommended that you have a look at the syllabus for the PMQ rather than do that one first. If you have been working projects for a number of years, the PFQ may not be appropriate, but do have an understanding of what content is in that, and that is available for you to see through the website, through the qualifications page on the website, so you can look at the syllabus and example papers, for example. The project management qualification is a big step up, is probably the best way of describing it, from the PFQ. This one, we really do find that individuals need to have normally been working for at least a year or two in a real world project situation. It's normally a 4 to 5 day intensive course, at the end of which you are doing a 3-hour typed exam. So this is a knowledge and understanding exam. You'll begin with a 15-minute read time to go through the questions. You have 16 questions you're selecting 10 from, and they are short essay style questions with an A and B part to each of those that you decide to include. So you're looking for those 10 and 16. The different providers that deliver the course itself will often have different formats for delivering that course. Some will be hybrid, some will be in the classroom, some will be completely virtual. It's good to be aware that there is that flexibility with the different providers, and they'll have different revision and resources available too. We do still consider this to be a self-study option as well, so there is a purchasable self-study guide for this, and sample papers are free as well on the website, so there are some resources to support you in that self-study process. So I think that covers the bulk of it. What I do hear quite frequently about the PMQ is that it's a lot of information to cover in those 10 questions in the time that you have, so it is quite time pressured, and like I said, quite a big step up from the PFQ, so definitely needs to have some time allocated to it to really get to grips with the syllabus for that one. We do, however, have a shortened route for the PMQ if you are an active Prince 2 practitioner. So if you've already done that if you are an active Prince 2 practitioner that's active, we acknowledge that prior learning with that particular qualification, and therefore the project management qualification, APM's project management qualification, is a shorter exam. So again, this could be a self-study option. Again, there's a host of accredited providers that can deliver the content. The exam itself is going to be 2 hours, because you only need to complete 6 questions from a selection of 10, because we're already acknowledging that prior learning. Again, it's still going to be quite time pressured to get all of that information across in the time allowed. Trying to think what else to mention about PMQ. PMQ also then gives you a quicker route to full membership. Normally you would need 5 years experience, real world experience, to apply to become a full member. if you hold the PMQ, you can apply for full membership with only 3 years of real world project management experience. So it's considered a faster route to full membership. So worth noting that as well. And the application is then also shorter because we're acknowledging your prior learning having obtained the PMQ. So that's that. Yeah. So again, through our website, through the qualifications and training page, there's an awful lot of resources within each of those qualifications. You'll see a tile for each of the qualifications. Particularly worth drawing your attention to the resources around our online examinations and what to expect and what happens, so you're able to ensure that you can use the various platforms that are used for that online exam. The frequently asked questions is always a really good place to start, and there are sample papers, etc., for you to just have a little play with, so you're able to just be familiar with the layout of that online exam when it comes to your particular exam date. So, you know, do make yourself as comfortable as you can by using these resources and having a play around and a test run of it prior to the exam. There's enough going on those exam days. In terms of our career work journey framework, this slide just helps again to collate all of that for you, so you can see at what stage in your career you might be, what sort of level of practice you might be at, and the relevant qualifications and membership levels at that level as well. So just to sort of collate it all there for you so you can see what might be next for you. So on here, if we look through the qualifications, that project management qualification lands at that operational level, that mid-career point. So as a corporate partner, like I said, we're really looking for those organisations to have a voice and to shape the profession and share best practices and lessons learned. Really shout about the profession within their organisation and demonstrate their commitment to its elevation and as the heart of an organisation. The tools and resources available to corporate partner employees are enhanced, if you like. It's designed to work in conjunction with individual memberships. They are quite different, but they are designed to work, you know, dovetailing into each other. So if you're not an individual member, but your organisation is a corporate partner, you will have enhanced resources and tools, access to the digital body of knowledge, access to the digital competence framework, and the competence online self-assessment tool, which is something that I would always recommend individuals to go along and have a 15-minute run through. It really does only take 15 minutes to assess yourself, scoring 0 to 5 against the 29 competencies that we have. So you're able to identify at a glance through that spider graph that's produced where you might want to develop your knowledge and understanding, or perhaps, you know, see some real strengths that you might be able to support people within your community in those areas as well. So the tool itself will also direct you to resources to help you fill some of those gaps and broaden that knowledge, which is really helpful. And you do also have a access to a log as well, so you can start getting in the habit of recording CPD, the time that you're spending. Important, like I said before, I'm sure, that just to have that awareness that CPD does take all sorts of different formats. It could be that you've listened to a podcast, it might be that you've attended a branch event, it could be that you've come to one of our APM conferences, as well as reading our research and white papers and other resources available. So it doesn't all have to be through one method. Lots of different formats of continuous professional development are applicable. So that's one of the areas that are a real benefit as a corporate partner if you're not an individual member. But like I said, those resources do deepen if you are an individual member. So again, that knowledge and continuous professional development piece, like I've mentioned, I listed a few, and we've also got our project journal, our award-winning quarterly magazine. If you are a corporate partner through the corporate hub, you would have access to the digital version of the project journal and the entire backlog of all previous issues as well. There are a number of our publications available to you, and like I've said as well, the podcasts as well. So we've also got a YouTube channel which contains a lot of the resources or events that have been hosted virtually in the past have been recorded and kept there for people to revisit as well. Our conferences and events are a really core part of what we do. It's really about that community, those networking opportunities, and our APM flagship events are obviously very important to us to promote and to share within the community. We've just had our Changes conference, which was hosted in Birmingham in June, and we're really looking forward to our Women in Project Management conference hosted in London in September. In the meantime, there's a host of other branch and specific interest group events being hosted up and down the country. So it's not just APM hosting these events. The local branch to you will also be doing things on a regular basis as well. So I would encourage you to investigate that, and you can express an interest through the website into the various branches. There will be one near you. And again, we have those 14 different specific interest groups, or SIGs as they're known. And again, you can express an interest in as many of those as you like. It could be an opportunity for you to share experiences that you have, or lessons learned that you have as an organisation, a great platform. Or it could be that there's an area that you have particular interest in, that you want to know more about, and network with other individuals that have that interest and passion as well. So no limits as to how much you can be involved with those. They aren't going to be regionally based. They will be hosting things all over the place, but express an interest so that you're aware of the activity that they have running. So like I said, there is a branch near you. The map just helps to depict those. When you're looking at reaching out to the branches, don't feel that you're committing yourself to hours of volunteering. It could be that you just want to know about what they're hosting, and perhaps it's on a topic that you're interested in. They're normally in the evening that they have their events locally. So it can be a really good opportunity to network with project professionals beyond your organisation, but at a grassroots kind of level in your area. If you do want to get involved in the committees and be more active in that, they would be very warm and welcoming. They always are very enthusiastic to have new people involved. So the amount of time commitment is entirely up to you. There is no expectation. And this slide just lists for you the different topics for those specific interest groups. So you can see there, gives you a summary of what those are at the moment. It's the Women in Project Management that hosted the September event that's really taken on a life of its own and become quite a flagship event now. So that particular specific interest group take the lead on that one. And I just wanted to quickly show you some key areas of the website, because I appreciate when you land on our website, there's an awful lot of information. So just for your awareness, we've circled some key areas there. The resources section, top left, it's along that top ribbon that you're going to find more information about the qualifications training, like I've mentioned, and within that chapter, if you will, there'll be a tile for each of the different qualifications with more resources and information within them. I wanted to bring your attention to our events section as well, because there is a list, a calendar list of all of the activities that are going on up and down the country. So you can scroll through that events page and see if there's something near you that's of interest, or it could be something that's not near you but being hosted virtually that you can attend. So you can see if that fits in with schedules, etc. But that's the area of the website where you're going to find all of that collated for you. And it's if you have got individual membership that you're going to log in and have access to your all the resources as an individual member. And if you're not an individual member, but you're part of a corporate partner, then you would create a login and register there as well, so that you can access the corporate hub and the resources within it. Details of that are shared directly with the corporate partner to cascade down. If you are an individual member and you work for a corporate partner, please do link those two as well. It's great for the corporate partner to have visibility of you. And equally, if you have also got qualifications as well, you will also have a profile already in existence, just so you're aware. So that's some areas to be aware of on the website. And on this slide, I'm just showing you here where, if you are part of a corporate partner, you will link your profile so that you can see this corporate hub area that I've highlighted. And it's within this section, within the My APM area, that you would not see this until you've done that linking with corporate partners, so that you have those additional resources through the corporate hub. So that's what that looks like when you come to that point. So I think that brings me to the end of what I had hoped to share with you today. I don't know if there have been any questions at all. I'll stop sharing. But yeah, the slides are available, so please do reach out to me if there's anything you would like to take offline or think of at a later date. I'm more than happy to take emails as well. But if there's any questions in the room.
Yep. Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you, Sophie. There's some really useful information in there, and a good way to guide people to that content. We've been putting links in the chat as you've been talking, so hopefully give people a chance to get into that detail and have a look for themselves. We do have a couple of questions, and whilst we go through those, if anybody does have a question that they haven't posted yet, if you can stick your hand up, and what we'll do is we'll come to you to answer those questions directly. So I'm going to take the two that were in the Q&A. We have got at least one in the chat as well that I want to follow up on. And again, some of these things maybe we might not have the answer now, but we can go away and find out and get back to you, and we'll share that with the group as well if there are any questions we can't answer right now. So Martin has a question. Martin, do you want to ask your question live while you're here?
Afternoon. Chat. I've got a Prince 2 practitioner qualification. Did that a couple of years ago during COVID. Nothing better to do for a week and a half, so got myself some extra training. There's certain gaps I think I've noticed as I've embarked on my first couple of projects, like knowledge, say, around finance, contracts, that kind of thing. I'm just wondering, is it worth starting at the beginning with yourselves with the PFQ, or would you perhaps jump in at the PMQ, like with that Prince 2 background?
I would say to have a look at the syllabus for the fundamentals, just to be sure if you're comfortable with the content of that. You don't need to have taken it. If you're looking through that syllabus and thinking, actually, no, I'm not familiar with some of these areas or these topics, then by all means, it might be beneficial to do that, but it's not a requirement, but certainly is an advantage if that terminology and the knowledge is there before you embark on PMQ. So would you agree, Jo? Would you?
Yeah, so I think that's definitely one option and one way of looking at where those gaps are. There's also, if you're interested in just the knowledge to be able to apply it in practice, there are other ways that you can gain that knowledge and information as well. So as part of our corporate partner membership, we have access to things like the APM body of knowledge. And the APM body of knowledge has whole sections around budget management, financial management, contract management. So it's got information in there, and also each of those sections then directs you to where you can read more about them. So the bit about contract management then has an APM guide around project controls and governance. So it leads you to the information that you need to be able to do that. So you don't have to have gone on a course to learn it in order to apply it. If you want the qualifications, that's great, but there's also ways to get the information you need to be able to do that bit of the project more effectively. We had a couple of questions, Martin, that sort of links to this, and we've got, through our corporate partner membership, the resources that we get from the APM are on our community site so that those who subscribe can access it. It's a closed community, so we've mentioned it in the chat, but what I want to do is I'll show everybody where it is and where they can access the APM corporate member resources, so you know where to go, and then others who are interested can also have a look at that part of the site as well. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you both.
Okay, so let me just share our community site then. So as part of the sign up to HPCA, what you will see is that you will get access to our Knowledge Hub online community. And this is where we have the repository of resources, but also we've got really great stuff around the APM events are promoted directly through here as well. So through our corporate membership, if you register for the Healthcare Project and Change community, you'll get access to the site. If you go into the Visit Capability Development group, there's two areas of particular interest around this. The first one is I'll just show you the events section, because in there, the APM team promotes events that are coming up on the APM, and you can go in and link to those and register for those directly. So click on that and it will take you to it. So there's always plenty of opportunity and a broad range of events to sign up for as part of that. So please do go in and have a look at the events section. The other bit then is the library. If you go into the library, the first folder you will see in the library is called APM. And in here, you will find our corporate member resources. So this is the stuff that we get as part of corporate partnership membership. So it's a closed community, so you need to register for it. So there's some guides and it includes the standards from the APM. But if you scroll right to the bottom, what you'll find is the APM Body of Knowledge 7th edition. So that's the bit I was just showing now. And this is the online version of it. So you can access that to have a look at the different sections. And that includes sections around budget management and contract management, and then gives you recommendations for further reading on both of those areas. And some of those resources will then be in the guides section in here. So it includes things around APM guides that you can then go in and read more about. But also, I think it's really worth thinking about, if there's an area you want to develop, joining a specific interest group and finding out more from those who are leading on it, because there's lots of events that they will be putting on, and also things that will support you to be able to interact with people who do it on a day-to-day basis. So, Martin, is that good? Does that give you the information you need?
It does. That's useful. I'll get onto that when I've got a spare hour. Thanks, Joe.
That's great. The thing is, once you're in there, there's loads that you can access, and once you know where it is, you can go in at the point when you need it. So, and get that information out at the time you need it. We also have a question from Pam. So Pam's asked a question: can we download individual CPD entries that we have completed? She needs it to submit an annual revalidation to a regulator. So, so those that might have dual professional careers and links to other professional bodies. Sophie, I don't know if you know of a way to do that. I was actually in here, Pam, having a look to see what happens to the CPD section.
There is, as a corporate partner, there's a Excel document that we've provided. It's not particularly complicated, but there is a template there. If you're an individual member, the system will actually record your progress and the time you've set aside to do different activities. And I believe there's a way of sharing that. I have to admit I have not used it, but I expect Joe has. So I'd imagine you would be able to, I don't know, screenshot it, or there'd be some way of submitting that to another. I imagine, yeah.
Oh, I've just spotted. I was having a play with this, Pam, as we were talking. But actually, it's got showing 12 activities, so things that I've logged as part of my CPD. But then there's a little thing underneath that says download CPD log as an Excel file. So let's see what happens if I do that. So we're learning as we go here.
That must be a very handy individual member benefit. But as a corporate partner, it's yeah, so really, which is why it's very popular for those that are chartered or looking to get chartered. But yes, as a corporate partner, there's
yes, you can, Pam.
Yeah. Are you a member yourself, Pam?
I'm just about to be up. I completed the PMQ earlier this year, so now I'm kind of sorting out everything else. But I've got 6 entries I need to submit to my regulator, and 2 of them are all very project management based. So I'm just trying to find almost a shortcut rather than duplicating the work when it comes to CPD. Yeah,
of course. Yeah,
that's brilliant. Thank you.
That's great. So I stopped sharing, and I just wanted to check that when I thought I was sharing what was the Knowledge Hub stuff, you were seeing that, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I suddenly had a fear that I hadn't been sharing, and I'm busy describing something that
no,
we
could see it.
Okay, fantastic. So those were the 2 questions that we'd got in the Q&A bit. If anybody else has any questions for Sophie, get your hands up now. We've only got a couple of minutes left. So please do stick your hand up to ask a question. There was another question. Let me just go back and find it. Oh, so Lee Rogers asked a question. Is it possible to undertake the APM Project Management Qualification for Prince 2 practitioners if your Prince 2 is out of date?
Sadly, no. If it's not active and in date, we can't, unfortunately, use that route. You'd need to do the 3-hour version rather than the 2-hour version. Sadly. That's the thing to be aware of with Prince 2, is that it does have that that requirement to update every 3 years, I believe it is.
Yeah. Okay, that was the last of the questions that I found. If they've missed any, please do stick your hand up. Last chance now. If not, that's... Did you want to ask a question? Yes, great, fantastic.
I put it in the question and answers. It was just because I work for NHS England, and as you have mentioned, we are not part of our organization is not a member.
At the moment.
At the moment.
But there's a lot going on in terms of the merger, and the new head of profession will definitely be looking at that in the next couple of months, I imagine.
So what are the cost implications then for individuals that are NHSE staff who want to enroll? What would be the cost?
So there's individual membership cost if you want to register as a member, but we actually have a discount code for NHS staff. So it's been kind of negotiated with the APM. So you would get, I think it was a 20% discount. Don't hold me to that. I'm going to have to find the details and share that with you. So Sophie, I think it'd be good to direct folks to the, because again, it depends on which type of membership you are looking for. So if you're looking for associate member is less expensive than full member, and it's certainly less expensive for me who's a fellow, because that's very expensive to maintain that. But each of them, and it only applies in terms of the first time you register as a member, the discount that we have negotiated. What we'll do is, because I think it might be of interest to everybody and we're about out of time, what we'll do is we'll send that around in terms of update at the end of this session, give you the link to it and the code to register if you're interested in registering now. And what we'll do is we'll send that along with the links after the session. So you've got those ready to follow up.
Remember quickly, do you then pay for each course qualification?
as an APM individual member, there'll be an annual subscription, and then the qualifications have their individual costs as well. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for attending, everybody. Thank you, Sophie, for some great insights. Lots more fantastic information for everybody on their career journey. We will follow up with information and links, and also both costs and a discount code. So everybody that wants to sign up for individual membership can do and make the most of that negotiated discount. So thank you, everybody. And if you're joining us, we have another session next week for the next stage of career development, if you are interested in that. And thank you again, Sophie, and we will be following up with details after the session. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining me. Goodbye now.
Have a great day. Thanks, everybody. Bye.